Red Velvet, the group with a dual concept. They can be both cute and sexy, dark and light, girl crush and always girl crush. We can sim them in so many different concepts, and they always nail it. It's really interesting to see them change style quite often, and though they have had criticism for some of their clothes, they're quite good in showing their individual style and represent their concept at the same time. Right now, I'll try to see what their Kibbe body types are. Remember, Kibbe is focused on using the physical characteristics of your body to help you dress better and ultimately enhance your style. Here comes the brief summary of the Kibbe body types, but if you have already seen it, you can skip it. Romantic, all soft and round lines, extremely feminine, just like Marilyn Monroe. Dramatic, sharp, long, somehow masculine, simply dramatic. Classic, the midpoint between romantic and dramatic, balanced features and even proportions. Natural, blonde and straight lines, slightly muscular, so not this or this, this. Gamine, the contrast of yin and yang, petite with sharp lines. These 5 categories can flow slightly into the type immediately before or after it, creating in total 13 types. Well, now to Red Velvet. I have said it before, but here it goes again. Classifying each member to one body type is not easy. I checked several sources and tried to do as much research as possible. Still, I could be wrong. Let's start with Irene. I will describe her as delicate and small, yet slightly broad and angular. She is rather short in height. She doesn't have a narrow waist, but it is somehow defined. She has broad shoulders and some angular edges. I would say her face gives more of a classic aura. Nonetheless, as many other people have said before, and I agree with them, she's a soft gamine. Combination of yin and yang with a little more roundness and softness in her features, with a doll-like look. The clothes she should use are soft, asymmetrical silhouettes with clear and rounded lines. She looks good with some sharp edges, but still have to look for a soft and rounded shape. Waist emphasis is also key to her style, and lightweight fabrics are the best. Now Joy. Everywhere I looked, she was classified as a soft classic, and at first I didn't see it. After all, she is known to have a sexy and curvy body, not really the definition of a soft classic. However, as I look more into it, I now agree with it. She's proportionate, not too broad shoulders nor hips, not too narrow waist, but still you can clearly see a defined figure. Actually, she's not too curvy, though she tends to accentuate her shape with her clothes. She's taller than the rest of the members, and you can clearly notice it, though I wouldn't say she has a long vertical line, more to an average look in height. She has softer angles in her body, but she is definitely a middle point between yin and yang. She's a soft classic. She looks better with straight and clean-cut lines. Symmetrical silhouettes with some waist emphasis is the best for her. She should have soft details and few accessories for her outfits. Jerry has very defined characteristics in her body. She has broad shoulders, somehow short torso with a not so defined waist. I will describe her as a slightly soft and fleshy body type on an angular frame, combined with an appealing innocent essence. Still, she tends to muscularity and has some blunt edges. She's a soft natural. She looks better in relaxed lines or unconstructed silhouettes with subtle drape and flow. It's important to put some emphasis on the waist and use soft fabrics and natural color combinations. Sylvie was somewhat difficult to categorize, but after some research and several photos later, I settled. She's a flamboyant gamine. She doesn't have a long vertical line, and though she looks quite proportionate, her shoulders do seem to stand out a little, giving her more of a triangular body shape. I would say she has a really defined musculature with straight lines, and she looks like she has long legs. Besides all this, she looks great in flamboyant gamine clothes, which is what finally made me put her here. She looks great in geometric silhouettes with straight lines, clear edges and sharp corners. Asymmetric and irregular shapes are good, or even some boxy figures. There should always be some sharpness and edginess to the clothes. Now the last but not least, and personally the most difficult one to categorize, Wendy. She has gone through quite some weight changes, and I have to say she always maintains a noticeable waist and looks rather proportionate between shoulder and hips. Sometimes, she even seems the closest to having an hourglass figure out of all the members. But still, I wouldn't say she has that body figure. She doesn't have a long vertical line, and her limbs tend to fleshiness. From my research, I even found quite a large group of people saying she's a theatrical romantic. But I think she still lacks a bit more curves and softness in her body for that. I put her in the soft gamine category, though I would say she's the one that has the most gym features in the group. If we base this also on her clothing style, she's always using gamine outfits, sometimes flamboyant and sometimes soft gamine. However, because she's the one with the most softness and roundness to her features, instead of trying to look edgy with a gamine silhouette, I think she needs to look more feminine. The few outfits she has used with a romantic undercurrent have looked great on her. I hope you liked this video and enjoyed watching the different body types for Red Velvet. Remember that Kibbe Body Types is mostly focused on giving you a guide on which style of clothes you should use to enhance your body strengths. Every body type is beautiful, and neither is better than the other. Subscribe, like, and comment down below.